Welcome back to Third Coast Podcast. I'm Joe. What it do, Gators? And you're listening to episode 282, Cage Side, featuring Andrew. In this episode, we learn about Andrew's 20 years of experience around the local MMA scene, from videography, in-depth interviews with fighters, and videography. And we learn about Andrew's recent induction into the MMAN Hall of Fame, and then we dive deep into how that journey began 20 years ago from when Andrew earned his black belt. And if you ain't checked out Third Coast Podcast, check out Third Coast Podcast on 5000ws.thirdcoastpodcast.com, on all major streaming platforms, on all social media platforms, and make sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel. Let's get into the show, and thank y'all for listening every week. We love and appreciate every one of y'all. You already know what time it is. It's Third Coast Podcast time. Thank y'all for tuning back in. And I'm joined today with Mr. Andrew. What is up?
Man, just, I figured I'd come down here and check you guys out and see what you're doing, man. Been watching some of the shows. You guys have been showing a lot of love to, some of the local talent here in your area and have those guys on, man. And hey, I'm all in on something like that.
How was your drive from Shreveport today?
Oh man, it was gravy. You're halfway to Lake Charles, so yeah, we make that trip all the time. We'll actually be making it pretty soon. So,
going to Ellick again? Alexandria.
No, next we'll be headed to. We've got the Golden Nugget in Lake Charles coming up, I believe in March, and then after that we've got Marksville. We'll be at the Paragon.
This might be right off the jump, but is like a lot of the fights happen at casinos around Louisiana? Is that like a real typical thing, or is it you draw more attention when you go to, like, when you pair it with the casino? Well,
it really depends on the area where you're going. Like Lake Charles. We've got the Golden Nugget is on board down there. We did a show down there here a while back. The guys loved it. Everybody with the casino loved it. So they wanted to have us back, and we're going to go down there. We've got partnerships with the Live Casino, where we've done shows there in Bossier. We just recently had one. And then we've got a really good deal with the Paragon. Those guys, they treat us awesome. So hey, as long as they're willing and welcome to have us down there, and we can sell that house out, man, we're going.
How's it feel to be on the other side of an interview for a change? Because you've been interviewing fighters for 20 years.
Yeah, 20 years doing this thing, all the way back since before MTV's Caged. So yeah, it's kind of weird not driving the conversation, if you will.
So if you look back in time and you're looking at the beginning, what motivated you to go down that path to say, hey, I want to talk to these fighters post-fight, before the fight, weigh-ins? How did that start for you?
Well, it was really kind of a gradual progression. I started in martial arts when I was a kid. From Master Yongsik Zeeb in Shreveport. He started school in Homer. I got enrolled really early, competed all over the place, and stayed in there till I got my first degree black belt. And then, the teen years, the later teen years, girls, all that good stuff. And, just kind of got away from it for a minute. And, years later, I was at my day job, and a buddy of mine had and I'm kind of telling my age with this one, but he had a sports vlog site. So this was, kind of before all of the social media, the Facebooks, all that stuff. YouTube was kind of starting to get some momentum, and getting bigger. And he had a vlog site. He's like, man, I cover basketball, football, different things, different sports. He said, there's an MMA show coming to town. He said, you're pretty familiar with martial arts, right? And I said, yeah. He goes, don't you have a pretty good camera? I said, yeah. He was like, all right. He said, well, I'm going to hit up the promoter and see if he'll let us come cover the event. He said, I'll write up an article. You take the photos and, let's see what happens. And, we went, we did that. And I'm sitting up on the top of the cage and I'm looking around like during the intermission. There's no sports outlets, no media, no newspapers, no local TV, nothing giving these guys any kind of exposure. I know how hard they work to get there. So I was like, man, this is it. This is my way to give back to a sport that I grew up loving, and I can help these guys get their names out there, have their fights seen, maybe even by relatives that live out of state that can't come, things like that. And just started covering them from then on. And I've just been hooked ever since.
Is that kind of when you started your website, MMA Assault?
Yeah.
Okay.
Myself and my first initial buddy, David, he went to a few and we ran them on his vlog site, back then, the first few. And he just kind of fizzled out. It was just something fun. The one or two times they came close. And I was like, no, man, I'm all in. If you're not going to be all in with me, I'm going to take this thing and run with it. And that's when I created MMA Assault and started covering these shows, man, paying for them out of pocket, just road trips.
And it's not just you're permanently with AKA right now, but you've covered a whole bunch of different types of, fighting events.
A bunch of different organizations and stuff working the way up. Yeah. Legacy, every time they came to town, man, there's been so many come and go. But I tell you, one that was a huge staple right here in your area for a long time, man, was Global Fighting Alliance. And that's Coach Alan Gray. That's David the Boss and Darian and all them's coach, over there at that gym. And he started up a promotion years ago. I've pretty much known Alan from the jump. So we've been working in sports, whether it's his own promotion or working with his guys at other shows.
How did you... I can't even think right now. I apologize, Mr. Andrew.
Hey, man, we're all entitled to those moments.
What do you think is your favorite moment when you, from all the years of interviewing people? Or is there a collective view?
There's a collective view, really. There's a short list of, just some of the top moments, just meeting some of the big guys from the UFC that have come to local events and getting to hang out. Man, I got to sit next to Carlos Condit and watch our old ring rulers fights. And we're literally going down the sheet. And he was like, man, I want to see how well you know these guys. Who's going to win? Who's going to lose? And we're talking about it throughout the event. And man, one of the most down-to-earth guys you'll meet. And, just getting to spend time with him, guys like, Tito Ortiz, a bunch of different guys. I met my mentor in this sport, through this sport, Don McGuire, who is a, multi-time Hall of Famer. I think he's 10 or 11 Hall of Fames in. And, fortunately, this last one that he just went in, I was actually inducted with him. So that was my first one. That's another one of those top tier moments.
Which Hall of Fame is that?
This was the MMAM Hall of Fame. It's an international Hall of Fame based out of, I think it was South Africa, I believe. But I mean, they had people coming in all over the world. Just to give you an idea, we had old school boxer Yaki Lopez. We had Stephen Balea from the WBC. We had Don. We had myself. There were guys from Norway, Sweden, just all over the country. Even, and this one I kind of got a little bit starstruck on, but he brought me down and said, "Hey man, you're part of the same class with me. So we're right here." Tong Po from Kickboxer actually got inducted in the same class with us, and I got a chance to meet him. Super cool guy.
Man, you're so accomplished. I don't know why you're sitting down with me right now. That's some big accolades you got. That's awesome.
Dude, I've been lucky. I fell into the MTV cage thing. Now, did the cage thing help our fighters? Like, Matt, Tony, all those guys? A little bit. But nowadays, they look back at it and they're like, "Oh my God, hide that footage. I don't want to see that." But, I mean, hey, that was a feather in my hat because I got to do all the, asking them all the questions and, different scenarios where they needed media, on camera. I got to do that. And that was pretty cool. I never thought in life I'd get to do it. So.
When you take your approach to interviewing fighters, how, because you got the details, what's going on. And like you just said a while ago, the guy was asked who's going to win, who's going to lose. So when you're interviewing somebody, how do you process that? And how do you deal with a quiet guest versus someone that's really rambunctious and loud?
Well, some of them you have to kind of lead it a little bit more when they're a little bit more shy because, I mean, I can't tell you how many debut fighter post-fight interviews, I've done. And some of these guys are just, that camera kicks on and they shut down. Funny you mentioned that. Andrea KGB Lee used to be that way. In her beginnings, her coach would carry, we used to do sit down interviews and things like that, in between fights, before fights, after fights, whatever. And just kind of get them that experience on the mic because, hey, it helps to make them more marketable, And her coach would do 85, almost 90% of the answering of the questions because she was just super shy. Now she can get on the mic and, handle interviews with no problem.
Oh, no, it's just kind of weird to me. You think that, because I've watched some of your interviews and I could tell that you're leading them or they're kind of shy and quiet, but it just baffles me because you can get in a ring and knock somebody out, choke somebody out, go round for round, but the mic and the camera scares you, Well,
yeah, well, here's the thing. When you're in there in the cage and you're fighting, you're not thinking about all those people around you. You're tunnel vision. It's you and that opponent. And you hear your coach. You're listening for your coach. You're not listening for the people in the crowd and all that. So, I mean, that's a whole different animal than when you're out here, the lights are on, and we're listening to every word coming out of your mouth. It's a whole lot different. It's a little bit different type of pressure.
Yeah.
They've trained for that. That's what the post-fight interviews do, is it helps train them through repetition to get over that shyness in front of the camera and things of that nature and be able to become a lot more marketable and handle yourself on the mic better.
So when you say, marketable, a fighter has to have that, you can't just be a great fighter. You got to have like the social skills to get out there and basically like selling yourself, right?
I mean, you're a brand. The minute you put yourself in that scenario, you're a brand. The more popular your brand is, the more people that are watching your brand, the more money you're going to make in combat sports. If people aren't going to buy tickets to come out and see you, you could be the greatest fighter in the world, but if you can't handle yourself on the mic, you're going to have a lot less fans because, people have short attention spans nowadays.
Yeah.
They want to concentrate on that one thing that happened, and it just, some of them, it takes a little while to develop.
So when you're doing your interviews, has there ever been something crazy happen, or somebody say something wild and you got to like cut and start over again, or anything like that?
Actually, really, really funny story at Samstown Casino in Bossier. He's going to get me for this when he sees me, but it's all right. Murad Almas from Armada Fight Team out of that Dallas-Fort Worth area over there. Coach E and them have a great stable of guys over there. But, man, he had just had a knockdown, drag-out fight, and we're setting up for the interview and everything. We hit start. I make the introductions, and I ask him the first question, and he goes, wait, and runs off camera, has to go puke. And we're scrambling, getting a trash can. I have to pop back in the camera view and go, we'll be right back after these messages. And then just cut to the multicolored, screen with the beep.
Yeah.
And come back to it. But, so that was the first time I had a fighter just stop in the middle of an interview and run off to puke.
Oh. So with your recordings, are there live recordings when you do them, or are they kind of like what we're doing right now? You record them in post-production?
They were pre-recorded, and sometimes I would wait until AKA posts the fight to post the interview for that fight. And then, we started putting them on the end of the YouTube fights. So it would scroll straight from the fight over into the post-fight. So
how's working with, how long have you been permanently with AKA and not going around doing other organizations?
Well, when I started with AKA, I pretty much stopped covering other promotions. I had one other promotion out of Monroe at the time that, I went and covered a couple of shows for, but I also worked with him as a day job. So the guy that was putting these shows on, but pretty much from day one, I still remember me and Amber talking on the phone for, couple hours, at the end of the day in the evening time, getting ready for AKA 1. So I've been with them from the beginning.
What do you think is the hardest part about interviewing for you personally?
Well, let's see. Like here lately, we've had a lot of new guys, a lot of new debuts. Sometimes things like that. Some of the names, I'd say some of the names that come in. We got fighters from all different cultures and areas and things like that. And sometimes some of those names, you look at them on that sheet and you're like, I'd have to ask them 2 or 3 times, like, okay, how do you pronounce this? I don't want to butcher it. And then when the camera comes on, I'll still butcher it. So every once in a while, I'll post those little bloopers.
Well, and don't feel alone, because I have that same problem sometimes too. Mr. Hick, his last name is Sharame, and it took me like 7 times of asking him how to say his last name right. And then I hit record, waited, and started the show and still messed up his name, and I had to redo it.
As soon as you knew it was recording, just go blank for a second. Yeah. Been there, done that. The scariest occasion with that was, I used to do some boxing, some announcing with, little local USA boxing, things like that. And, man, some of those names are way harder than others. And you're not just standing there on camera where you can edit it out. When you're in there in the ring, There's no, hey, let's run that back and do that again. There's none of that. I mean, you're just on full display for everybody. Props to Dave. Cause, Dynamite, man, that's, people don't realize, until you get up there and do it yourself, man, that's a lot of pressure. All eyes are on you and you better not screw up.
Yeah, he does a wonderful job. I went, the last fight I went and watched was when David fought the dude from Texas.
Yeah. Yeah. He, Michael Murphy.
Yeah. Did the illegal knee kicks.
Yeah.
And who else fought that night? But when I was sitting there listening, cause he'd take over the cage and the crowd when between fights and stuff like that. And it's just like the way that he can carry the whole room is like, I was like, man, I can't do that.
Yeah. Yeah. And you never know what's going to happen. I mean, we had that one guy actually we had two that have done it since the beginning. One had a really bad, like the Anderson Silva style leg break.
Yeah.
And, snapped it, and then he just stuck his leg up there in the air, and you could just see it hanging. Like Dana White, reposted it when we posted it. So, I mean, that was, and then, he's got a stall basically while the ambulance, gets him loaded up, gets them slid off and gets them off, and they can't start back until the doctor is back at cage side. So, he's got to do all that stalling, waiting for all those officials to get back, make sure he's good, get back to the cage and start the show all over again. So, I mean, hell, they've even forgotten, I remember one show was back in the day, and he actually ended up having to do the Star Spangled Banner. He had to do it because they thought we had music for it, thought somebody was singing for it. Somehow he ended up doing it. And found out, a few minutes before the show, hey, yeah, by the way, we need you to do the anthem.
Just throw that right there on you. You got this.
Yeah, that's nothing. Man, I'd never wish that on anybody, dude. That's the highest pressure to do the anthem, because if you get nervous and screw up one word, oh man, you're going to get brutalized online forever.
Yeah. I'm not getting in front of the crowd singing the national anthem. Y'all won't get that, listeners, from me.
Yeah, no, me neither.
So with, going to the fights, interviewing, being a part of all that, what's some of the wildest things you've heard, like in the crowd or people yelling at fighters? Because I was sitting up in the stands in, was it Marksville? And, man, I didn't know about grappling matches and, because that was funny.
Kickboxing.
So, yeah. Someone's like, why are they sitting down? Stand up and fight. I didn't pay ticket. I didn't pay for this. And I was just like,
yeah,
my buddy, I was like, what are they doing? And Crit was like, this is a grappling match. That's what they do. I'm like, oh, okay, cool. And I watched it, but it's like people were yelling, frustrated. And I was just wondering if you've heard some wild stuff being yelled during.
I just shared this to Reels here. I don't know, maybe a couple weeks ago, 2-3 weeks ago. And it was a top 10 craziest things that you've heard, yelled out at fights. And, the number one, and everybody's seen the viral clip of the dude in the little yellow shirt and the guy in selfie mode filming him. Crab is freaking twisted. Everybody's seen that one. So, they get drunk, they go to hollering, they'll go to hollering that. Some of them will, the guys will be wrestling on the ground, jockeying for position, working for submissions, and, you'll hear somebody go, just stand up. I would. And I'm like, sure you would. Cause, you just, until you're in there and they're holding you down and, you have no clue. Dude, you're just, you're 10 foot tall and bulletproof right now and just talking shit.
Yeah. I don't know. It's just the whole, diving in here recently and the past year, interviewing all the different fighters and stuff and learning the different things. Big shout out, Waylon.
Yeah. Oh man, dude. I was at Waylon's very first fight. I've literally watched him from his first fight up to, what he's currently doing now, and then getting to do the post fight last time he came and boxed for us at AKA. It was just, man, those are like the cherry on top, when you get to interviews those guys that started up with you in the beginning and watching them grow and succeed and get better. Like seeing even Dustin Poirier. I was around when he was still around here, before he moved to Strikeforce and all that. So seeing those guys and where they, as they climb and grow in their career, it's just awesome to even know if you even if it was just a percentage, you helped them out on their path to get there. Dude, that's what it's all for. That's what it's about.
That's nice. Waylon is fucking, excuse my French, listeners. Waylon 8-0. I've been joking. He's come and done a couple of shows recently, and I've been joking like, you want to put the gloves on and I'll box him, but
don't do that.
So the other day I was like watching some of his fights, and I saw the one where he knocked the dude through the ropes. I think it was the second or third round. I'm like, oh, hell no.
Yeah, it was kind of a delayed reaction. Like he hit him several seconds before that, but it's like it took a second for that switch to flip off. And when he did, he just collapsed through the ropes. Cause I actually posted, they sent me that clip and I posted it. And, people were commenting, oh, that's staged. That's fake. No, it's not. Not everybody just reacts instantly to a knockout and just folds, and turns into a puddle. Some people, they'll stagger. Man, I've seen some really funky knockouts.
Yeah, he's heavyweight too, so that body got to catch up too. You can,
yeah.
I know I ain't taking no hits from Mr. Waylon for sure, no time soon.
Man, I've got knockout footage from him when he was an amateur MMA fighter right here fighting at the old GFA fights. Still got him in hard drives.
Y'all go back like 4 flats on the Cadillac then.
Oh, man. David too. Before he even started going by David the Boss, he was David Abel. And I've got footage from back then. So, nice. And I never did stop to ask him, well, hey, where did that whole switch, take place or whatever. But yeah, I mean, that's how long I've known him. I've known him since he started.
That's crazy. David was the first MMA fighter to join the show way back when, I think like 3 or 4 years ago. He was the very first person I had reached out to. And when it comes to asking people for the podcast, it's just like, hey, do you want to do it? Or, hey, you look like you got something interesting going on. You want to come talk about it on the show?
Yeah.
And David came through, and that's the reason why I went up and watched that last fight. That wasn't his last fight, but one of his last fights he had. Mm-hmm. And it's just great. The MMA world, I hope that the listeners have been enjoying it. It's its own, because a lot of the interviews that we have done or still currently do are with artists, musicians.
Yeah.
And it's just like such a different world and such a different just learning experience, I guess you would say.
Whole different vibe, period. I mean, just across the board. You got to think, musicians, actors, things like that, they're used to being put on the spot and, being on the mic and things like that. But a lot of these fighters, they just go in there, handle business, and go back to the back, come out and party with their family, except for, the guys that have come up through my time that, we've interviewed and things like that. And yes, you're welcome, by the way, too, because David probably would have been way too shy to come on here.
Yeah,
had it not been for some of the old school MMA assault stuff.
Oh yeah, David was he does not shy of the mic, so that's crazy how that works. How all them years ago it kind of prepared David to come do the podcast, and who would have knew?
Yeah, I used to have to pull words out of him, man. He was quiet. He was super quiet.
Oh, he ain't quiet no more. He'll talk your head off once he gets to know you.
Actually, I talked to him yesterday and told him I was coming down this way. He's like, man, hit me up. Let me know how it went and, maybe stop by or something on the way back.
Yeah, I haven't seen David in a while. Big shout out to David the Boss Nick out there. Shane Ferrier. I seen Shane's about to get he's trying to get another fight. He was on him and Dustin came and done a show was about canceling flights, their t-shirt company up in Alexandria.
Yeah.
And Shane's like, I stand up and bang with you, but man, I hate to wrestle. He said, man, I hopefully you got that. You've been doing some jiu-jitsu there, Shane. I want to see you go choke somebody out this fight.
Well, and the thing about it is, Alan's got a great bunch of guys over there right now, the ones that are over there. But I'll tell you, this area, the Alexandria area, used to be a hellified hotbed for MMA talent, man. I mean, back in the GFA days, you had guys like, you had Alex Cherrier, you had Deontay Horton that all came up with David. David's been there consistently through the whole time, man. I mean, he ain't going nowhere. I mean, there was just, Donald Goff, sells cars right here in the area. He was, he was a lot to handle in that cage, man. I mean, they had just a crazy stable back when we used to have the GFA fights all the time. And, but now it seems like he's focusing in a little bit more on quality than quantity.
Yeah.
And, man, he's got a great bunch of guys over there, man. Those guys are like brothers.
And then that's something else too with the MMA world that a lot of people wouldn't understand is just how nice and like the fighters and the gyms and just, it's like a whole like big community. I tear your head off in the cage, but after that, I'll be your best friend, even though we just banged out 3-5 rounds or whatever. Yeah,
it's a camaraderie like you really see nowhere else. For the longest time, I used to try to get my wife to come to the shows with me because it started off me just taking pictures, somebody writing an article. Then it was like, okay, well, I need a video camera. These folks' family, I'm sure that aren't able to attend or live in other states and stuff. They want to be able to see this stuff. So I started, I tried to talk my wife into coming to do it. She didn't want to do it. The kids were younger. She was more comfortable there at the house. She wanted to be with them. And, so I would have like a random buddy be like, dude, can you keep a camera still? And they're like, yep. All right, come on. I mean, it was kind of, it was the Wild West back then. It was a whole different time. You didn't have all these different media companies, production companies, things like that coming and being able to live stream all of it. If it happened around before all those folks came around, 9 out of 10, it's got my MMA Assault logo in the bottom right, it was, it took a while for me to finally get her to come to a show with me. And I would tell her, look, you just don't understand. It's not just all this bloody, it's not all about the fights. I was like, it's almost like a family reunion every time you walk into the door. You've got all these people that you've developed these bonds with over years and years. You hadn't seen them in a couple months. Hey, there's a show. Everybody's hugging, and it's a big family. Once you get the right crew and everybody gelling together, it's a family reunion every couple months. So, and I finally got her to see that because one of my guys canceled on the day of a fight, like 2 hours out from the show, before we had to leave to head down there to the show. And I'm like, okay, look, I got nobody. You got to call grandma. I have to have you. And so she went with me and I told her, I said, I'm telling you, watch, once we go to this first show, you're going to see, what it's actually about and you're going to be hooked. And, after that first show, man, if she had to miss one because the kids had something, we had to divide and conquer. Oh man, she was pissed. She couldn't be there.
that first one, you just got that. See, that's something too for y'all listeners out there. Y'all, if y'all ain't never been to a MMA fight, the time is now. Go buy you a ticket because it's a wonderful experience.
Yeah. Yeah. You know, compared to sitting back on your couch and watching it. Yeah. You can get drunker, a lot louder and a lot stupider watching them on your TV. You got nobody, you know, making you chill out. But, in person, actually getting to see these events and hear everything and see everything unfold. You know, you miss a lot of it when you watch an event on TV. Being there and in person is just a completely different experience. And, you know, watching one on TV it's never going to be the same after you've been to a live event.
And what's pretty cool too is when I went and watched David after, because you will see the fighters, you know, in the cage and who fought. So you go out on the casino floor, say 30, 40 minutes after the main card, and you can walk up to any of these fighters and talk to them, and they're friendly. And that's how I think that's how I met Shane, if I'm not mistaken, and somebody else. I cannot think of who it is. Darian, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah.
I think it was Darian.
Another really good dude, and all the talent, and you know man, the sky's the limit for that guy. It really is.
I'm going up to Hackman's gym on the 7th of February to interview the owner of the gym, Adrian Elkins, Darian, and he said a couple other people, but he didn't give me the names yet.
Yeah, probably Owen Elkins will probably be in that mix. He's one of the trainers. And he's actually got like he's had a little camera crew, a buddy of his, I guess, does some media stuff, and they've been developing, like a little documentary, about the experience from amateur to, you know, to current. And, that kid right there impresses me. Every time he comes out, he's better.
Yeah.
He's changed weight classes, you know, a couple of times because, I mean, he went from being a really heavy guy for his size, man. He dropped all this weight, put in all this work, and, you know, studied his craft, man. And it's showing. It's paying dividends every time he gets in there. He's getting better and better. And, his coach, Calvin, I got a funny video of Calvin trying to do a backflip after a win, and his feet clip the MC that was the MC in the event right in the middle of the West Monroe event center right there and at the college there. And he did a backflip, and his feet caught the MC as he was walking by and fell right on his face. He jumps up. Yeah.
Just try to play it off as best as possible.
Sorry, Calvin, but dude, that was just gold to catch on video. You can actually hear me at the end going, please tell me I caught that on video, because I just went to hit the button to stop the recording, but I caught it. And I was like, oh man. He said, man, you're never going to let me relive that down, are you? No, man, that's one of those top funny moments.
Yeah. He had a head kick knockout recently too, right?
Yeah.
See, that shocked me because I didn't think he was, diverse in the leg kicking area. I'm pretty sure there's a more technical term for that, but
yeah. And I'm telling you, man, that kid puts in so much work, the dedication and the work ethic that he has. Man, if he keeps doing this thing, and you know, like I tell him, and like I tell a lot of early fighters, you know, in their amateur career, I'm like, man, this is the time that you want the absolute toughest fights out there, because as an amateur, you can take a loss, you know, even if you test yourself a little bit too far, you know, and you don't come home with that win, you can take that loss, because you know what, at the end of the day, when you get to the point that you're ready to transition into being a pro, you put yourself through all the paces. You couldn't be more ready. And guess what? Your record goes to 0-0 when you go back to, you know, when you transition to pro. So I've never once heard a UFC commentator during a fight go, yeah, such and such had an amateur record of this and this and this, even on the debut guys. So, I mean, hey, if you take a loss because you really put yourself to the test, you weren't quite ready, you didn't come away with the win, man, that's fine, because you're going to be 0-0 when you go to transition to pro. But you need to make sure you're ready for that. You don't jump the gun, because once you get that first loss on your pro record, man, you got to earn at least 10 or 12 wins to cancel out that one loss for any like big organizations to even look at you.
Oh, we got the ambulance about to come get us. Oh, no, it's the big one.
Somebody called the wee-woos.
But now the ambulance has got me thrown off for a second. Oh, can't thank. You know what's great though is that you taking a chance with us right now. And I just want to, before I forget, to say thank you on the mic. Thank you for traveling all the way down just to spend a little bit of time to travel all the way back up north. And me, you know, just you drove in from Shreveport just to come down here to sit down.
Well, dude,
then turn around and go home.
20 years ago, I was you. I mean, nobody was doing this. And, you know, nobody was helping me. For the first 12 to 13 years, we covered all those fights, no matter if they were in Mississippi, Arkansas, you know, down here, down further south, Texas, all those places. We drove to out of pocket. All of my equipment I bought out of pocket for my love of the sport and to see these fighters be successful. Now, you know, hey, if I end up making eventually a couple of bucks out of it, I know damn well I'm not going to get rich off the fight or, you know, the fights here in Louisiana. If I wanted to do that, I'd have to go to Vegas or somewhere else that, you know, there was a lot more activity and I could actually make a career out of it. I probably could have done that. But man, I got roots here. I want to see, you know, nobody's here rooting for these guys. So when I saw you bringing these guys on and showing them love and finding out more about the sport, hey, we're already in like Flynn. When you show them love, you show me love. I love these guys. That's why I've done this as long as I have.
It means the world. And I know that means the world to them fighters too.
Yeah.
And I know Waylon, he was, where's he at? He was in Mississippi, I think, at a nursery convention.
Yeah.
And, he was supposed to come through. We were going to surprise you, have him, cause I know Waylon knows a lot more about you than I do. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But, he got tied up with his family business or whatever. And he's like, man, make sure you FaceTime me. I want to talk to Andrew, this, that, and the other. Because once Waylon gets something in his head, he's going to tell you every fucking thing. I send him like one sentence text message. I'm getting 6-7 back.
Oh, yeah. Well, like I say, you know, those guys that were in that original GFA that hit squad hitters, they know who they are. You know, man, if they were in that group, man, that was my family coming up in the beginning of this thing. Man, they were my crash test dummies and, you know, I was theirs. You know, we were both learning all this whole process together, really. Cause I mean, I was self-taught. No, you know, I didn't have any media classes, man, trying to figure out how to edit in an actual editing software, not just cut an end off and cut an end off.
Oh, I feel the same way is because I ain't never went to college for this. Only thing I try to do is like do as best research as I can. Try not to say a lot and
exactly
the video edit, the audio edit. It's just now it don't seem like that much, but it's in the beginning. It's just like I gotta do this because in the beginning the podcast started with just audio. Yeah, we've only been on YouTube for a little over 2 years now.
Yeah, congrats on 2 years.
But we hit a million views last year on the show on YouTube.
That's awesome.
So slow growth. I wish we would have, you know, in hindsight 2020, I wish we would have started the videos sooner because the podcast has been alive for 6 years, but
yeah,
the video has only been alive for a little over 2. But that was a learning curve in itself. Video editing is a monster.
Yeah.
because your video runs at a certain rate where your audio runs at a different rate. So if you, like, I used to match it up in the beginning, and people started telling me, hey, Joe, about 20 minutes in, the audio and the video ain't synced up.
Yeah, syncing that stuff in. Now, take that of just me and you sitting here talking and, cutting to different cameras or whatever and syncing the audio and all that. And look at that of having, like, say, multiple cameras around a cage. When I introduced a second camera and got the GoPro to mount on the post right there in my corner where I was doing action shots from, while my wife's on the other side with the other video camera, learning how to sync the fights together. And right as that.
Oh, I bet you that is hard.
Yeah.
I never thought about that.
Yeah. Yeah.
But with that, you focus on the video. It ain't no, because you'll have the audio too in the background too. So you gotta. That's a lot of precise clipping.
Yeah, yeah, and man, I used to get so frustrated with it. It took forever to kind of finally figure it out. I would just have to get old footage and just kind of play with it a little bit, and just keep working on it and keep working on them, keep playing around with it and, clipping different stuff, just taking some different clips and like practicing with it. And, finally I got it down. When you do so many of these things, man, it just gets easier and easier.
And then when it comes to that, you find something that you've been missing this whole time, and I get upset with myself, be like, dang, I could have been doing this the whole time. Or like, I did episode 280 with my dad, and I did the beginning of the shows. Now I do an intro to big shout out Chuck. Chuck said it's going to help with the listeners to get engaged in the show more. Yeah. That
it kind of gives that background. So they're like, oh, okay, this is what this person does. I didn't know who that was.
Yeah. And then it goes into the intro, then the show. But in the beginning, I did the episode title Over Me, and it was 5 seconds long. Mm-hmm. I didn't realize it auto-corrected, and the title was spelled wrong in the beginning of the video. So 3.3K people watched the video, and most of them people watched it at least 5 to 10 minutes. And it's like, man, that mess up is the first thing you get in the episode.
And that can either become a good thing or a bad thing. It's all in where you're looking at it from. I remember when both Brandon Shavers and his brother Brian were both fighting, because Brian used to fight, too. And I had just met him. It was like the first card that, it had like both of them on or something like that. And when I uploaded the fight video, it was like, I think it was Brian's fight. It was Brandon's fight, and I put Brian Shavers or something. Oh man. And the correction part was, the worst about it. But hey, as far as like social media and traffic and things like that, how many people that commented on that said, oh no, that's Brandon. That's not Brian. Man, we get paid for that type of stuff now. If there's a boo-boo on it now and people are jumping in the comments correcting you, from an algorithm standpoint, not such a bad thing.
Yeah, true. I didn't think about it in that regard.
When they start paying you,
that monetization. We recently, the Third Coast has monetized on Facebook of all things, so we've actually turned the podcast into a small profit. Nothing huge, but it's hopefully the start of more to come.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I mean, I don't know. I probably started doing the monetized thing, I'd say maybe 6-8 months ago, something like that. And, now it's starting to kind of gain a little bit of momentum. So, hey, y'all keep throwing those hands up in those comments. But yeah, so it kind of got a Christmas surprise from Facebook this time, which was a little bit more than what I thought. I was like, holy crap, this could be something eventually, but it takes time. I've been posting videos for 20 freaking years. Just now starting to get some momentum.
Do you, is it just on Facebook that you post, or do you have like Instagram too? Or
Yeah, I've got Instagram and, Instagram and, TikTok, things like that. But, most of it's fight stuff. Every once in a while, there's just me doing some dumb stuff.
I do that sometimes.
Making stupid little corny jokes. Y'all excuse me sometimes, but, man, I like to have fun with it. And hell, if you can pick up a couple bucks for it, I mean, it didn't cost me nothing to shoot a 10-second stupid video saying a joke. But hey, if it made me, $10, not too bad.
It's crazy. Imagine if Facebook would have done that stuff sooner instead of the way it is now.
Oh man, I wish they would have done it sooner. I think it was 2 or 3 years back on New Year's Eve, I took it was a stupid little Mr. Bean clip of some movie he was in where, I think he had gone to like California and, he was riding with somebody there showing him around or whatever, and somebody flipped him off, and he was like, "Oh, that's how they say hi around here." So he's like in the drop top, just throwing random birds.
Oh yeah, I know what you're talking about. Yeah,
and
I've seen that.
I posted that stupid little clip, maybe like a 10-second clip of him, throwing the birds and saying, walking into like 2024 like, and had him doing that. The thing hit freaking 2 million.
Jesus.
But then I've put in, so much work into some videos, the ones you put all this hard work in and try to really think about, don't do a damn thing. But then you post a 10-second corny clip of something and it can get stupid numbers. That just shows that.
Yep. The attention spans.
Yeah.
That's all. Trust me. I know that pain all too well. I spend like an hour and 30 minutes making a short and, bouncing the video back, forth, make sure to find an interesting segment in an hour and a half podcast, and then do all that work. I post it and get 200 views. I'm like, oh man, this is good. Yeah. But if I post like a meme short, thousands of views. It's just like 10 seconds.
Yeah, makes no sense. Makes no sense at all.
10 seconds, 100 likes, comments, and then I post a good quality video with, substance, I guess you would say. And it's just like 3 minutes, swipe left or, scroll up and down.
Yeah, I'll do like the top 10 craziest stuff you hear yelled out at a fight, And when I did that, I did a post like a month before. I was like, "Hey guys, I'm putting together a top 10 list of craziest stuff you've heard. Comment with some of the craziest stuff you've heard, and I'm gonna put it on the top 10 list." And everybody was commenting stuff on that thing. I was like, "Oh man, when I post this video, boom, it's gonna go." No, it didn't go. Not at all.
It's just
so it's just those ones you spend time with. It just seems like, always do worse than the ones that you just throw up there.
But I guess that's just, you got to keep going with it. Rather, it's like you said, you've been doing it for 20 years. So it's the passion. Look at it like that.
And I'm still just little old me. I ain't became nobody yet.
Oh, well, I mean, you're somebody. You got you're in a Hall of Fame.
Yeah.
Like,
that was something I never in life thought was going to happen. You
get like a trophy or something for that?
Yeah. Trophy, a certificate, and eventually we're going to get our rings. That's what I'm looking forward to.
You get a ring?
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, we're working on that stuff. But that's what I want. You can't carry around a Hall of Fame trophy with you. Could you see me walking around the fights with this just big trophy? Just walk. Oh, it's my Hall of Fame.
You bring a little stand for it.
I worked hard for this. Set this on a little chair while I'm doing post fights or something. No. But being able to have that ring, though, I just want to be able to pass something on to my kids that Lord knows I never thought would ever happen to me. But now I can say I did it. They can say I did it, and at the end of the day, that's what's more important to me, is that they have something to look up to. They have something to shoot for. They can see that you don't have to know anything about this when you start, but you work hard and teach yourself and, work your way up. Something like this can be accomplished.
And with your accomplishment too, you're full time with AKA, so that's an accomplishment in itself too. And all of the fights I've went to and seen, and all the people that surround AKA, is just an amazing organization. So
yeah.
I ain't never personally met Mr. Dynamite, but he seems like a pretty cool dude. I've only heard good things about him.
Yeah.
And like Waylon, Shane, Darian, David, list goes on and on.
Yeah.
Every fighter I've ever met, nothing but some of the kindest people in the world. And But that's all a part of the struggle though.
Yeah.
Well, Mr. Andrew, we're closing in on an hour. It seems a little bit faster than usual. We just rolled right through it.
Oh man, it's, hey, when you've got a good driver and you're doing your thing, and man, that time will fly. I know when we were doing the old AKA podcast, the Wizards Combat Hour deal, man, we'd look down at some of those when we'd have guests in studio. Man, we'd have been there 2 hours. Me and John would look at each other like, oh crap, the girls are going to kill us. Like, we still got to get home and eat dinner. We do it on a weekday. It was a Wizards Wednesday.
Third Coast started out on Tuesdays because I wasn't even a host when Third Coast started. I got brought in on like episode 7 or 6. My buddy Terrence and Kobai started it.
Okay.
And they brought me in, and then through time, you see where it's at now.
They got tired of it, and kind of like with MMA Assault, we started with this little vlog thing, and he realized, I don't have time to do it full time. Let me go back over here, and I just took off and ran with it. Kind of looks like what you've done. You've done a damn good job of it.
I appreciate that. And it's only going to get better, listeners. So, Mr. Andrew, do you have any words of wisdom for the listeners out there today?
If you're going to buy an MMA ticket, buy an AKA MMA ticket. Yes. See, well, no, see, that was almost the right sound. I don't know if you've ever seen any of the little videos where I mess with my brother, our DJ at the AKA fights. MP3. He has this little bam, 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 bam button. And every time I'll run up to him, where's my bam, bam, bam button? And he'll be fighting me off of the soundboard and stuff. And we'll do fun stuff like that. But, yeah, man, no, just, if you're passionate about something, yeah, I mean, you may struggle, you may crawl for, 10, 12 years, but just keep pushing, keep working hard, and, it can be done. Lord knows I never thought I'd be in the place, in some of the places I've been or done some of the things that I've done. Never thought it in the world.
Nice. My words of wisdom is to love yourself. Look in the mirror and say, I love me. Because I know sometimes that's harder than I'm making it sound, but self-love is necessary in life, and I think a lot of people walk past it. You can't love somebody else unless you love yourself first.
Yeah. No, very, very true.
But Mr. Andrew, thank you so much for driving down, being a part of the show, and I appreciate you, and I look forward to seeing you again. And actually, now I got someone to talk to when I go to my next AKA fight.
Yeah, exactly, man. Come find me. I'll introduce you to Dave and all that, and that way maybe you guys can talk. Maybe he can come on here if you've got like 5 or 6 hours to let him drone on and on. No, just picking at you, Dave, man.
All right, listeners, my bad. The battery packed out on us right at the end. We were closing out the show and just
man, it's it's kind of like drag racing, man. You get right there near the finish line, then your engine just shuts off, and the other guy rolls past you.
Yeah, that's what just happened. But anything else, Andrew?
Man, my main thing is, in 20 years, I've met some of the best people in the world. I've met some of the worst people in the world, but dude, it has been an absolutely amazing ride over the last 20 years and just evolving, going from, pictures and videos to media guys coming in and doing all the production and then having to think, okay, what's next? Okay. Post fights, doing all that stuff that, man, it's just everybody that's allowed us to be a part of it and, do something that I absolutely love to do, man. They say if you work doing something you love, you'll never work a day in your life. Man, I've had a lot of free days over 20 years, if that's the case. So like Amber and John, absolutely amazing. That's my brothers and my sisters. It doesn't matter what time of night they need us. If it's something with the kids, it can be something with the fights. It doesn't matter. We're going to be there, and that is our family now. And I just want to thank them for allowing us to be a big part of this journey and growing with AKA, because it's the most stable thing in MMA that I've seen in 20 years. I've seen a lot of them come and go. AKA's got staying power. We're not going anywhere.
And if the listeners out there are listening to this and they want to come meet you in person at the next AKA fight, where's that one at going to be at again, and what day?
Let's see. That one, I'll have to check with the dates on it, because that's one thing I'm horrible with, names and dates. You wouldn't think so, doing all these different events and all that other stuff there. But yeah, my wife she's an absolute godsend, because she has to remind me about all this stuff all the time. But I think we've got one coming up in February or March, I believe, in Lake Charles. And then I think it's like the very next weekend, we're in Marksville at the Paragon. So it'll be, if I'm not mistaken, it's back to back. If you follow me on, Facebook or anything like that, you can't miss when and where the fights are, because Lord knows I plug them religiously. But yeah, so those are the next two on the board. It's going to be Lake Charles, Golden Nugget, and then Paragon and Marksville.
Oh, they can check out the AKA Facebook page too, right?
Yes. And now I'm going to say this, and I have to make this post every single event, because scammers on Facebook are absolutely ridiculous. If you ever get a friend request in your inbox from American Combat Alliance or American Combat Alliance 53, because I know it's going to happen when we have 53 in Lake Charles, these scammers are creating these fake Facebook pages. A legitimate business Facebook page is never going to send you a friend request. You can follow them, but if you ever have a friend request from an American Combat Alliance or any kind of other fight organization, that's not them. They're going to hack you.
You know what? I actually had them, because I was looking, I had a friend request from AKA, and I looked at it, I said, hold up, I already follow them. Why are they sending me a friend request? I went and looked at the page. I said, this dude's fucking fake right here.
Exactly. All they had was like AKA 51 or something on their page, no other events. You know, if you're unsure, go to the page, but don't, you know, they're never going to send you a request, period, because business pages are not structured like people pages. There's no friend for requests in the business page world. So, I mean, don't fall for the okie doke. Don't let them get you. I guess that would be my word to the wise. Don't fall for the okie doke. Don't accept the fake AKA friend request. Cause, we try to protect our audience as much as we possibly can, but some people just don't know better. They don't see the warning videos and things like that. And yeah, they'll get taken advantage of by these scammers. And it's a damn shame. Just get a job.
Yeah, the scammers are bad out there on everything. Phone calls, harassing old people about insurance. And
a lot of them are really smart. Why don't you use that for good? And create revenue that way. Just do it honest, Yeah,
I feel that. So if y'all get a Third Coast podcast friend request, don't accept it.
Hey, but that means you're on the right track, because when you have imitators, you're doing something right.
Yeah, that's true. But that's just them people trying to steal fucking money, though. That's wild.
Yeah.
But that's new age bank robbers, I guess you would say.
Well, this whole new age is pretty screwed up right now.
Yeah. That's a whole nother topic we could dive hours into.
That's a whole nother podcast. That could be a series.
But Mr. Andrew, thank you so much for joining us and taking time to be a part of Third Coast Podcast. Y'all make sure to go check out Andrew's on social media, like and follow all of his stuff, and go see him in person, because he will talk to you. And I'll talk to you too if I see you in person too. But
yeah, you see me running around the fights, just grab me up. Don't grab me too hard, though, because I may be thinking you have some problems. But yeah, man, just holler at me and say what's up. I love talking to people. Yes, if you can't tell. Kind of a people person.
Just a little bit, huh?
Just a little bit.
But like all good things, stuff has to come to the end. And thank y'all for tuning in to episode 282 on the slow creep to 300. Be on the lookout for that event we'll be having. And you already know who it is. I'm Joe. What it do, Gators? And we out. Thank y'all. Love y'all.